So welcome to the FlatsClass YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, you're going to want to subscribe. So just go ahead and subscribe right now, please. If you're not, I'm going to tell you about a familiar character that ends up fishing with me quite a bit every year. He's a friend, but he's also a client, and that is Redfish Rick. There's a reason why we call him Redfish Rick, and you'll find out shortly. But we are fishing in this particular trip two artificial lures that work extremely well in the wintertime. I mean, really well. And it's been kind of seasonally cold that has set the fish, but we're getting ready to get into one of the coldest periods in the last decade. We're talking about 5 days of ice cold weather where the lows where I live will be below freezing. In Florida, that's cold. I know you're laughing if you live in Wisconsin. I know you're laughing if you live in Minnesota. But in Florida, you get 5 days where the lows are below freezing. That's not good for the fish. But this little lesson here is going to help you out a ton. So I'm going to go down to the shop because it's already getting cold, and I'm going to break out these baits so we can talk this tackle a little bit. But in the meantime, go be entertained by Rick and I. We took a little trip, and I'm not going to hide where we were. We launched out of the John Brown ramp right there in Citrus County, and we fished some of the back creeks. And no monsters, but plenty of rod bending action, as you'll see. All right, it's pretty foggy out here, but hopefully it will lift soon. And today I have Rick Harnish on board, and we're going to be throwing crustacean patterns, probably the Z-Man kickers and the Z-Man jerk shrimps, swimming them over this mud bottom in here. We're in the very back. We're fishing some back country, all the way to the pine trees and palm hammocks today. Looking for redfish and possibly a few snook, but probably just redfish. This is likely the last day we're going to fish for about a week, because we're supposed to have some hard freezes coming up over the next few days here at Christmas time. So probably won't get the fish for 7 days after today. So we're going to squeeze every drop of, well, whatever you call this, out today, and catch a couple of fish and hopefully show you all. Well, hopefully the fog will lift in another hour or two.
Right.
We see a few blue crabs on the bottom. That's going to be the bait. Dragging that over this mud, pretty skinny in there. This corner here has got a little bit of current seam coming around it. I think the 1-2 combo between the jerk shrimps and that crab, we ought to be able to find a few redfish back in here somewhere eventually. And there's crab pots in here, and you got crab pots, you got crabs, so the Z-Man kicker crab might be the deal. So far back in here, that might be a bass. Yeah, you could just swing him up. He's not that big. Well, maybe.
Show me.
He is, I mean, dark. Way up here in the back. My back was almost black, so it makes it hard to see. That one was sitting a good 20-25 feet off the bank. old school. There you go. Well done. Well done. I launched it over that point.
They were around that school of mullet.
Yeah, well, they're eating crabs and shrimp because that's what we're throwing. Z-Man crab, and go ahead and put the micro down. Micro's going down.
Look how dark they are.
Oh yeah, it's Red City in here, man. I like it. Second one this morning.
Good size. Nice color. Alright, bail's open.
Turn him upside down so he doesn't freak out. On the jerk shrimps. Not a bad specimen. Alright, I'm gonna let this one go.
Okay.
Get you in there for another one. Man, they are ice cold. That water is ice cold. Well, between the shrimps and the kicker crabs, we got quite the shellfish bar going on.
Shellfish smorgasbord.
That's right, man. Z-Man needs if we had an oyster bait, we'd be good. I was like, there's no need to pull the power micro.
Leave it in.
I mean, just leave that thing in, because
Leave it in.
you're hammering them.
They're
dude.
here. They're around these mullet schools. Even though they may not be eaten off.
Whoa, really nice.
He's not that big, but
Hey, on that rod,
yeah, he's big for this rod.
big for that rod. I mean, you're throwing virtually an unweighted shrimp. That little Z-Man jerk shrimps on the chin locks, it's hard not to like that bait. And that color is, well, it's been money all winter.
Yep.
I would just hold on a second. I'll get down there and we'll get a little pick with this one, because even though he's not the largest one so far,
He's pretty.
he's definitely what I would call the Anne Margaret of the bunch.
Our Angie Dickinson.
Definitely got the red hair going on with this one.
Okay. Bail's open. He's not bad, man. He's probably
Yeah, he's a decent
21, 22 maybe.
22.5-inch fish. Launching it. Something about this groove here. Man, I love the way this crab swims. It is gorgeous. I just got to have a little bit bigger fish. Sure, if I just sit here for another minute or two. There he is! This might be a snook, no? Yeah, I got a snook on the crab. I got a snook on the crab. That thing is amazing. He's not a big snook. Man, I sure hope he does okay in this freeze coming up. I'm going to be really careful with him. Throw back in there and try to get him. I'm going to throw a little tighter to that little piece of cover there. Go wide here once. There he is. I think I might have got another snook. I think I have found what is on the menu with snook. A little known fact that they like crabs. You little snook. I mean, that's a pretty good kicker crab for a snook that size. In you go, bud. I am just crushing these little snook. Now I wish we would have brought a fly rod. That would have been fun. I don't even know if we could call these guys thumbsucker size. They're small. But boy, do they love this blue crab. Oh, you got one too?
That could have been the one you just threw back.
Well, I think they're living up in this hammock over here. They go up these little ditches and creeks and they stay warm in there. Boy, that crab looks so real in the water. It looks like the real McCoy. I can't wait to tarpon season this year with this thing. It's gonna be money. Or get on some intercoastal dock lights with this thing where there's a lot of tide for snook and trout. Oh, the Z-Man kicker crab's gonna wipe them out. As you can see, Ricardo here made a wardrobe change. He got out of his orange gear.
You're escaping from jail, you gotta have a change of wardrobe.
So oh, that little jerk shrimp's tearing them up today. Tearing them up. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put us down, because if not, he's going the other way. Sitting right on that oyster bar. Got all this rock point here and some broken oyster. This is actually a nice size redfish. Let me jump down.
Jump down?
Yep. Put this in the pole holder. All right, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Paddles open.
That's been a good bait today.
Good bait all day today.
That's a good looking fish. Ooh.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Yes. He's good, all right. He's good as gone.
See ya!
See ya.
What do you think about buying that cabin over there and fixing it up?
I think that would be a damn good idea.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what. It is nice having the luxury of clients like Rick, Redfish Rick, as you clearly found out. My rapport with Rick is more than just guide client. We're good friends. I have Rick over all the time. He hangs out. He's just one of those good folks that you meet along the way in your career that you like being around. And you know, in today's instance, we were doing something completely different. We were trying a zone that I don't typically fish, and when I do fish that area, I always seem to be in a different spot every time I go, because it doesn't seem like it really matters where you go. You're going to find fish in that December, January, February window. So because my rapport is so good with Rick, I was like, hey, let's just launch and just pick one. Go back in there, hunt it. I mean, really comb it good. Because as you could see, the conditions were foggy, overcast. Well, they were kind of crappy. They really were. So we're going to have to cover a lot of water. And in my opinion, if you're going to throw a soft bait, where you're going to have to cover a lot of water, it's hard to beat these two. These two do a fantastic job. This little Z-Man shrimps, this is the jerk shrimps. You've seen me do YouTube videos on it before, but you can swim this, and those antennae going back and forth like that as you're moving it makes it a little bit more subtle, but because of its skinny design, like all the trout trick profiles, it allows you to go through grass, rock, throw it up into the marsh grass on the bank and pull it out, and it doesn't get hung up very easy. And there's just enough weight on there with the chin locks hooks that you can throw it on a medium weight fast action rod, so you can have some hook setting power and still have a pretty cool bait. Now I'm going to tell you right now, this was the hottest lure of 2022 as far as I'm concerned that came out of Z-Man. Now, that's not because selfishly I had a lot to do with the testing of this bait, but I've never found a soft plastic crab that has been worth a damn ever until this one. And it's because I can not only finesse it, but I can power fish with it. There's not a lot of lures that you can say that you can do both with. This one, you can. And I've caught every popular inshore species on this crab in 2022. So it's awesome. So if you're really looking for something that's going to be a game changer for you this winter season, and this one all year, it's going to be these two baits, both the Z-Man kicker crabs and the Z-Man jerk shrimps. They're just fantastic. Now let me talk a little bit about how you rig them, because there is a variety of ways. I'm going to reach down here and grab the jerk shrimps first. Like I said, I had it on a 3/0. This is a 3/0 chin locks. It's 1/8 of an ounce, and it weighs just enough that you can make that nice smooth cast, and it will land soft. There won't be that big splat. If you make the cast, feather the line, and let it just kind of fall at the end of the fall, the signature on the surface, even those placid conditions in that fog, are pretty quiet. So it's a really go-to for me. Now, you could rig this on a jig head. You could rig it on the Pro Bullets, which I do often. I like this setup. This is a pretty amazing little rigging hook, if you will, with a keeper on it. It's head weighted. If you have to punch a lot into the wind, then I would have went with the Pro Bullets, but we didn't have a lot of wind. And I didn't want them down on the bottom too much, because in some of those creeks in the back, there's tons of green, like that filament green frog snot algae that makes it tough if it gets down. Now, because I was throwing the crab, and I'm good at feathering line and getting right to the reel, I chose to throw it on a head weighted piece of terminal tackle like this Snake Locks. Now, why would I do that? Well, I wanted casting distance, one, which allows me from the back of the boat to cast farther. And two, I dig this look because it allows my bait to get down in the middle of the water column, even if it's only 1.5 feet, 2 foot deep, and be able to traverse the middle of the water column instead of right up on the top. And I fished it a little bit faster because the water temp was about 59 degrees and it had moderated because it had been 59 degrees for about 4 or 5 days. So the fish were getting used to it, and I knew we'd be able to catch them, especially the day before this front got here. But you can rig it this way. You can rig this on the Redfish eye as well. This Redfish eye will allow you to have open jig head with this bait. You could put this on the chin locks, or even the Pro Bullets would allow you to do a lot with this bait as well. But when I put it on a jig head, or I put it on the Pro Bullets, I tend to let it sit on the bottom, and this arm comes up almost in a defensive posture with this bait. And so I can finesse it that way, or I can swim it like you saw me swimming it today, and it works extremely well. Hopefully you're learning something when we're teaching you about special baits like these here at FlatsClass YouTube. And I want you to subscribe. I said that earlier. I still want you to subscribe, because this channel can get so much better if we have more subscriptions and more of you watching. Now, don't get me wrong, we're getting millions of views and we trend very well with FlatsClass YouTube. It's just partners, they're wanting to invest more in this YouTube channel, and I need you guys to subscribe to do that. All right, it is cold. It is the day before Christmas Eve, and I still have some last minute shopping, so I'll be going to Sodium to get that done. And when I get back and I've got tomorrow off, I'll be making more YouTube for y'all. Okay, Merry Christmas. See you guys next week.